This has to be one of my most amazing stories of scaling this business so darn quick. Can you tell everybody how much money you made last month as a signing agent?
$16,000. Still in disbelief. It's really crazy to comprehend that one can make that amount of money in 1 month and still part-time. And yeah, just disbelief and appreciation.
Another episode of On the Road with the Loan Signing System here with Signing Agent Autumn out in Raleigh, North Carolina. How you doing today?
I'm doing fabulous. How are you?
I am so good, girl. I am so excited about this interview. Like I am all these, but this has to be one of my most amazing stories of scaling this business so darn quick. Can you tell everybody how much money you made last month as a signing agent?
$16,000.
$16,000. When I say that, what feelings come through your body when you say that out loud?
Still in disbelief. It's really crazy to comprehend that one can make that amount of money in 1 month and still part-time. And yeah, just disbelief and appreciation. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I'm so happy for you and your family. Let's keep inspiring people. You've only been at this for 4 months and you have a full-time job. We're going to talk about all that, but how much money you've made in the first 4 months of ever being a loan signing agent?
Just shy of 60 grand.
Just shy of $60,000 in your first 4 months of ever being a signing agent. When I say that back to you, now what are you feeling?
My life is changing because of this. Again, grateful, blessed, just again, disbelief, and so thankful.
Oh, I love it. I mean, this story is incredible because you have a full-time job. You have a great full-time job. As far as the income's concerned, we know jobs are way more than just income, but I want to take people through this journey of 4 short months. I mean, you're one of my students who've scaled this the quickest. By the way, North Carolina is an attorney state. My quick disclaimer is neither one of us are attorneys. Neither one of us are giving legal advice. We're simply sharing an amazing journey that one of the loan signing system students had in an attorney state. Always follow your state laws. With that being said, you are scaling this part-time, $16,000 a month around a full-time job that pays 6 figures. So why in the world would you want another job when your current job, or why would you want to start a business when your current job pays 6 figures? Let's bring people to the beginning and let's just share this crazy, awesome story to inspire other people. So take me back. Why'd you start this journey?
So as we all know, the global pandemic that happened in 2020 changed a lot of things for everybody. It changed everybody's lives in some way. And for me, it took a career that I loved and changed it almost overnight. I no longer was traveling, which I traveled quite a bit for the job, and I got to get out and see people. And I was demoralized. I was demoralized by the fact that I was told on an almost weekly basis that I may lose my job. My duties of my job changed, and the things that sparked joy no longer were there for me. And so I felt lost. I felt somewhat helpless and hopeless, and I was depressed. I was anxious. I started going to therapy for the first time, which I'm so thankful for. It definitely helped me get through last year and help work through a lot of these anxiety, this anxious feelings that I had. I wasn't being as present for my kids and for my husband because I was having these anxious and depressed feelings. And I really just felt like my back was up against the wall and I had no other option. And that was a really, really uncomfortable place to be for me.
Yeah, well, first off, thank you for being so vulnerable. It must be a crazy feeling living with almost on a monthly basis, knowing that your job is on the line. It's crazy that they literally were telling you, your job may or may not be here next month. I couldn't imagine living in that state of like unknown. And I can see where the depression would come in, the anxiety, like, am I going to have a job next month? And it almost seems like they were hanging that over your head a little bit, which is just kind of not okay. And so, even though you still have a job to this day, knowing that it may not be there tomorrow must have just brought so many feelings to the surface.
this level of uncertainty. I am a type A individual. I like to be in control. I like to know what my next day, my next week, my next month is going to look like. And for the first time in my career, or at least with this company in almost a decade, I didn't have control over that anymore. It wasn't promised. And I really had to think about what my next steps were going to be. And honestly, I had this moment of this clarity of this conversation with my husband. We gone away for the weekend, and I said, I have to make a change. I don't know what it is yet, but something has to give, because this isn't healthy for me. It's not healthy for our family, and it's not fair. It's not fair that I am not the mom or the wife or the woman that I want to be.
Yeah, you know, again, thank you for being vulnerable, because you're probably not the only person, man or woman, who, because of COVID, doesn't know if their job's even going to be there tomorrow. And it's even crazier. Again, I couldn't imagine that feeling of them literally telling you, like, almost be grateful you got one, and you said something that I thought was pretty powerful, because like I said, you're not the only person in America who's living in kind of that limbo of, is my job going to be here tomorrow? But you said something, I wasn't very present for my children or my husband, and that must have taken a toll of just being a mother and a wife. Talk through some of that, so other people know that they're not alone if they're living in this just, like you said, bubble of anxiety.
Yeah, I think there's a part of actually physically being present, but mentally not being there. And I think for the first time, I was actually physically more present than I have ever been, because I stopped traveling. But I mentally wasn't all
Mm.
there. I was, again, when they come home from school, in the morning, getting them ready or come home from school, I just had distanced myself, and I just wasn't the mom that I wanted to be. And it was, that just made me more anxious. It just fueled my anxiety, because I didn't know if I was going to be able to provide for them. Could we have gotten by on my husband's income? Sure. But what would I be doing to contribute to the family? And so again, I was more present, but less present mentally. And that, again, was not acceptable. That's not the type of mom or spouse that I want to be. And I just knew something needed to change.
No, that was really, really deep. Thank you for saying that, because like I said, it's crazy. You're right. Because COVID made all of us come back home and physically be there, but the uncertainty that the entire COVID, even wasn't just uh, uh, the work situation. It's just, life. Like, it was such a scary moment for all of us. Like, everyone had to feel it to a certain degree, but you add work on top of that. I mean, a lot of people were probably feeling exactly what you felt. So, what I think is the beautiful part about your story, Autumn, is, you're sharing that you were here and now you're doing $16,000 a month part-time around this job. And I think that there's a lot of certainty now in your life. Is that a fair statement to make?
100%. And I think I may have written this to you in the past, but I feel so alive. I feel so much more myself. Like, I feel like this was my destiny to run my own business. I feel in control again. I feel happier. Those levels of anxiety, yeah, they're still there, but not in the same way. I have a 2 and a 3-year-old. I mean, if anyone has small children, there's going to be a day, it wavers throughout the day. So I think that, again, and it's so interesting how quickly it shifted. It didn't happen overnight by any means. COVID started a year ago, and I didn't find this until September or October, around that time frame. So it took me a while to get there, but once it started clicking, it's changed our lives. It's changed my life.
I think changed your life more than just financially, right? Is it safe to say that you and your husband's relationship is now stronger than it was previously, becoming a signing agent? I say that because I want you to also talk to someone who might be experiencing what you were experiencing 5 or 6 months ago, someone else who currently has anxiety. And I want you, if you don't mind, inspire them that it can get better, and it does get better.
It absolutely does. And I will give a small shout out to my husband here, the unsung heroes, our spouses who support us through this, because he's had to step up in ways that, he probably didn't expect to, as far as childcare, and to just support me going out and doing my signings at different hours and whatnot. But yeah, it's something that you can overcome. Again, it doesn't happen overnight. It takes work. It takes diligence. You have to be persistent, and you have to want more for yourself. And I know when you're in this moment of depression and anxiety, especially clinical depression, there's not really a whole lot, someone can tell you just to kind of snap out of it. But when you get to that place where you're ready to do the work, to kind of change your life. Like it can happen. And I've said this word to you many times, but disbelief is really, I'm still in disbelief that we're here, that I'm here talking to you, that in 4 months I've been able to scale this business. Like, why me?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you why because you work harder than any student. You're up there with all of our big hitters. I mean, everyone has the same course, but not everybody puts the same effort behind the course. So why you is because, girl, you work the system like very few work. I'm so proud of you. I'm so happy for you and your family. Let's kind of segue into this next question because your growth is incredible. You went from 8,600 to 13,000, to 13,000 to 16,000. What would you, to help someone else who's just blown away by your numbers, right? They're like, oh my gosh, Autumn, I've been a loan signing assistant for a student for 6 months and I can't break more than $4,000 a month. What would you attribute if you're like, you contributed to one thing that helped you grow this business so quickly? What would you attribute that to?
That you have to be confident in yourself. You have to be confident that you, through your course, have given us the skills to do this work and that you are capable of achieving this sort of success, that you can walk into an attorney's office, that you can walk into a title company's office, and that you can provide them with a service that they absolutely need. And it's just incredible. Like,
no, I love it. Well, I mean, what I heard was you believed in your training. And
I believed in myself. I believed that I was capable of going in, again, approaching them and letting them know that I had the proper training, that I was going to be able to execute and do a closing for them. Yes, it might take me a little while at first, but that I had all the tools necessary, but I believed in myself.
Love it. Because like I said, I'm trying to help someone through because here's what I heard is, you didn't discount the training that you received. And let me explain why. Some people think, well, I can't build this business because I don't have any signings under my belt. I can't build this business. I can't go directly to an attorney or to a escrow officer because I have 0 signings. So therefore, there's no way they would hire me. So what I heard is, yes, obviously there was a confidence in you, but you had a confidence in the training, which gave you the confidence to go in. And I think a lot of people discount the course and the training, which says, I've never done a signing. I've taken the course, but I've never done a signing. So therefore I'm not going to go in. You took the course and said, look, I took this course. I busted my tail. I learned everything in it. And that helped with the confidence walking in. Am I kind of hearing the right thing?
100%. And we all get the same training. If you follow the system, again, you do such a great job of going through a mock signing, of providing the loan documents. And if you take the time to study those, again, you have a leg up upon so many loan signing agents that you don't even go through specialized training that are loan signing agents. And so again, we definitely have a leg up going through the LSS system. And then again, having that confidence that you're capable of doing that. And again, those escrow officers, those attorneys, those paralegals are going to see that confidence that no one even asked me that first day that I was out marketing, how many signings I've done. I didn't know what I was going to tell them if they did ask me that, but nobody asked me because I spoke the language.
And I had this moment of like, thank you for saying that. I think a lot of new signing agents think like, oh no, they're going to ask me how many signings I've done. And they don't, as long as you could, like you put so eloquently, speak the language. And so I hope another LSS student is really listening to this story, is because you believed in yourself because you believed in the training. And everybody wants you to believe in the training because you went direct right out of the gate, which I'm kind of moving a little bit out of my sequential order. I like to have these conversations in, but I want to talk about your direct business because you went direct the day. I don't want to take it out of your words. How quick did you go direct when you started getting business, not working for signing services, directly with the attorneys? How quick did that happen for you?
So there was a delay because of COVID and taking my oath to swear in to get my commission in the state of North Carolina. So I had a 12 o'clock appointment to swear my oath on that Tuesday. And I spent that morning and that afternoon in between swearing my oath, marketing directly to attorneys. I hit 8 different offices that particular day with stones in hand and introduced myself. And at my 4th office, I had someone say, would you like a signing at 7 p.m. tonight?
Oh, okay. I didn't know this part of your story. Okay. So, but I want everyone to be inspired. All LSS students watching this, you literally went direct the day you got your notary commission. There was zero signings you did under your belt. Nothing else. You didn't do any signings previous. You went direct. And I hope people are inspired by that. You believed in your training so much, which then led to belief in yourself, which then led you to drive marketing the same day. And you got a signing the exact same day you marketed. I hope everybody hears this. And I think your story is crazy inspiring. And the reason you did $8,000 your first 30 days is because you took what you learned and you applied it immediately. And that is the difference. Everyone has the same course. I just want people to hear how you can literally have zero signings and get direct business the same day you get your commission. And it was an unwavering belief in yourself. And I'm going to say something that I'm connecting a couple dots. And I think a lot of people don't believe in themselves, Autumn, and tell me if I'm hitting this right with you, is you didn't discount the amount of time you spent in the course. Meaning that, like, look, I spent 10 hours, 12 hours studying, like I'm ready. Like what helped you walk into that building was realizing you didn't just spend an hour in the course. You knew how much time you put in, and that helped lead to the confidence. Am I kind of right?
100%. I had gone through the script. I had actually reworked the script to specify for the attorney state that worked for me. I had it in a binder. I had come up with this whole, what I call my CRM matrix. So I knew exactly my tactic. I had the spreadsheet of who I was going to talk to. I took diligent notes. Like I was prepared. I think coming in prepared made me feel so much more confident as well. Again, I had the training. I knew what I was going to say. Didn't willy-nilly come up with this. I spent the time that I needed to upfront to really get this train moving. Right. And I think that that's part of, again, I talked to you about setting goals lower than I didn't intend to, hit $8,000 my first month. I was hoping to make $3,500. But because I had done this prior, preparing and had really studied the course, I felt that really attributed to it. And let me be fair, my first signing was a disaster. Okay. I've seen you post about this. It took me 2.5 hours. My husband was calling me. My phone was on silent. Like he was going to come drive out and find me because he thought I might've been kidnapped. Like it was a disaster, but I got it done. And, I slowly over the next couple of weeks got way more efficient and really figured it out.
Well, you said a couple of things that which people heard, like you're well on the way to 6 figures. You're already halfway there in 4 months. But the point I'm saying is, I want people to get inspired by the mindset of the big earning students. Look, your results aren't typical, but nor is your effort, nor is your energy, nor is your perseverance. And what I heard was like, look, I knew that I may not crush the first signing, but I knew that I just had to get through the learning curve. Sometimes, baptism by fire is the best way, but a big earner embraces that, right? And that's what I'm hoping people get from you. It's like, look, I knew that I may not be perfect the first signing, but I can't get perfect at something that I've never done until I do it. And you weren't afraid of that moment. That's what I'm trying to get at. And I hope people are inspired by that. Is the mindset of you big earners is like, look, I'm embracing the moment. I know that I may not do great on the script the first time. I may not do great on the script the second time, but gosh darn it, by fourth time, you got a signing. But you were able to embrace each one of those steps, right? Am I kind of right? Talk to someone who might be a little bit nervous about going out and saying the script and making it theirs. That like, look, by the time you got to office number 4, you were better than you were in the first time.
100%. And something important that we need to talk about is everybody was receptive. Nobody said no to me. They didn't necessarily say yes, but I'm not doing work for all of these people, but they didn't say no. They were, genuinely excited to see me, or at least not mean. And I think that, again, just this practice of running through the script, like I think I probably jumbled a few of the words, but I picked myself back up and I said, okay, right, that wasn't as scary as I thought it was going to be. You know, they were actually nice. They smiled. They liked my scones. So that was helpful. You know, I think going in and disarming them in some way. So you're going in with a smile, you're going in with something. And this is also important to say, it doesn't need to be something expensive. It doesn't need to be something that you've spent 100 hours putting together, like this massive gift basket. Like those are great when you have the business and all of that. When you're first getting started, make something heartfelt. If you're not great at baking, you know, think of something else that you can bring in. But I think that was really my strategy of just disarming them. And that made them smile. I was bringing something to brighten their day, not necessarily selling anything. I was here offering a service that they needed. And so I think by the third, fourth, fifth office, I really started to gain that momentum. And I get excited when I get, you know, to do my marketing days now, because I've gotten the script down. And same with my signings. Like I remember those first couple of weeks. Again, you know, I'd come home and report to my husband, okay, it took me an hour and 45 minutes, it took me an hour and 30 minutes. You know, so it was this learning curve, but it is sort of baptism by fire. You have to do it. And I think more than anything with loan signing, it's getting over that first signing. If you can do that first signing, you'll see that it's not as scary as you think it is. If you can go into your first escrow office or your first attorney's office, it's not scary. People are kind. They're human like you and me.
I love it. I mean, I hope everyone just watches that last 2 minutes on repeat, rewind, watch that on rewind. You just drop nuggets and fire. You know, the couple things I want to touch on, like I'm trying to write notes while you're writing all this so I don't forget, you know, is I think one of the best pieces of advice you gave in this segment is you disarm them, right? And so you walk in with something and you use scones and then you use the word heartfelt, right? It's you know, I don't teach your students to buy anybody. I teach you to be full of gratitude and thank you for your time to listen. You know, my 2 cents is this, it's like the attorney or escrow officer is taking, or paralegal is taking time away from what's putting money on their plate, whatever job they're doing when you walk in. You're like, excuse me, stop doing that. Listen to me so I can pitch myself. And if you can show a heartfelt moment for that appreciation, they will feel that. And what I hope isn't lost in what your word scones is, you're baking the scones.
I'm baking scones, different flavors for each season.
I love it. Another nugget. But I think it's cool is, again, you're not buying Starbucks. You're not doing anything. You're giving a piece of Autumn, which I think is perfect, right? When you're baking, it's a piece of you, as you know, as a baker. And I think people see that. And I think what the nugget is disarm them before you use the script, right? Too many times students go right into a title office or attorney's office, say the script, comes off robotic, comes off as very cold, not heartfelt. But you're coming in saying, look, I love to bake these scones. Here they are. I'm trying to put a smile on your face, whatever words you use. And so I hope people are really hearing the words heartfelt. They're hearing the words disarm. You know, a lot of people go, Mark, what's the secret of marketing? And I just say, be yourself. Like that's the secret, right? And you made scones. That's just what Autumn brings to the table. So if you're someone who's watching, do something of you, bring that in. And what I'm going to end with, Autumn, that we can maybe hopefully talk about, because you said it pretty quick, is you've never heard the word no before. I think there's a myth or axiom, thought, whatever word you want to use, of I'm going to walk into an escrow attorney's office and they're going to say the words, no, we do not need you. They don't say that, right? I mean, help someone who's sitting on the edge of like, okay, Autumn, you're getting me excited. I'm going to go market direct. Like you've never heard the deliberate, mean, rude words of no. Talk through that a little bit more. Can you glance over that kind of quickly?
Yeah. So of the 50-ish offices that I've stepped into to
Hold
date.
on, stop. 50 offices to date. If anybody wonders how she made $16,000 in 1 month, it's because she put in the effort. I don't want that lost, Autumn. That's incredible. Again, I'm just a coach. The players make the plays. I'm so proud of you. Like I didn't know that number. I can take no credit for your effort. I hope other people are inspired. If you want to make $16,000 in a month, go to 50 different offices. Like if I knew how to put a fire emoji on this edit, I would do it because, girl, that's mind blowing. And I hope people are inspired by that. 50 offices. You want to make $16,000 a month? Go to 50 offices. So I just had to say that because that blew my mind. Okay. No, but everyone else is inspired by that. Like, a lot of people see you big earners, Autumn, and they think it just happened by luck. 50 offices later,
A
you
lot
made
of hard work.
$16,000. And so I can give you the script, but I can't make you say it. And you did it to 50 different offices. So anyways, hope everyone's inspired. LSS students, you want 16 grand? Go to 50 offices. So continue what you're going to say.
Yeah, and of those 50 offices, not a single one of them has said no. And again, it's because I'm walking in, I'm offering them pleasant baked goods. I'm not walking in just with my business card and like rolling into my script. I'm saying, hey, good morning. I brought you some scones. While I'm here, I wanted to let you know that I am a notary public loan signing agent and I would love to work with you directly. And then I organically go into the conversation. And yes, there's times where I've been no one said no. I haven't necessarily gotten to the attorney or the paralegal that I researched in advance and wanted to ask for because I knew that they were the right person to ask for. I don't always get that. Never heard no. I've heard, hey, we have people that do notaries in office, or maybe not right now, but no one has been rude. No one has been scary. Everybody has been kind. And not only does that disarm them, but it also provides me the script to follow up in my email when I grab their business cards. Later that day, I follow up and say, hey, I'm so sad that I missed you and I didn't get to meet you in person, but I really hope someone saved you one of those scones. And then I lead into why they should use me as their direct notary instead of going through a signing service.
I mean, you're dropping fire. I love it. Really, people need to watch this on rewind. What I heard that I don't want overglanced, and you kind of stopped yourself for a moment. You said that I researched. Like, people too often see 16,000 a month signing agents. You've made almost $60,000 in your first 4 months, but it's not on accident. That's what I want people to hear. 50 attorney offices later, research at nights, midnight, first thing in the morning. Who am I going to hit? CRMs, right? All these things that you're dropping throughout this interview. I want people to put this picture together of a businesswoman who is organized, who is relentless, who is deliberate. I want to say that word one more time, who is deliberate with their marketing strategies. Like, all you needed, Autumn, was a vehicle. And I think you found it, girl. Like, the sky's the limit. I know you know what's the limit. There's no more uncertainty if I'm going to have a job tomorrow. Girl, you have a full-on business that is going to the moon. I love it. Let's go.
Cannot wait.
I love it. But I mean, look, I hope everyone is super, super inspired by all this, because you're literally giving the game plan. Everybody has the same script. Everybody has the same course, but not everybody's walking into 50 separate title companies, right? And I was going to ask you a question, and if you can answer this, because I think another thing that might be inspiring is, look, you straight up said, look, not everybody I walk into 50 attorneys' offices. Not everyone has used me. What allows you to keep pushing, right? Because I think there's a subset of people out there who get really distraught that they go into an escrow office, they go into an attorney's office, and they never hear back, right? Kind of help somebody on how you kind of keep pushing, how you keep moving through it. Because I think you're a really good example and inspiration of, like, look, I'm not working for 50 attorney offices. I've marketed to 50, but I'm not working for all 50. And that's not going to stop me from marketing to another attorney office just because 20 have not called me back. So if you can kind of just inspire somebody and help somebody, maybe a better word, of how you do it so you don't get down and keep marketing, even though everyone's not like banging down your front door.
I have a very strong why. I have a very strong vision of what I want my future to look like for my family. I want time. I want time with my family. I don't want to have to work so hard for the rest of my life. I came from very humble beginnings. I came from a town of 1,000 people in the middle of nowhere, Kansas. Luckily, my parents moved us out of there pretty early to expose us to a larger city. And I moved around a lot as a kid and didn't have a lot. My parents, again, neither of them went to college, and we didn't have a lot of money. And money isn't the end all be all, but I also know that having some sort of comfort and not being worried about how we're going to pay the bills, how we're going to provide an opportunity for our kids to go to college, to pay for their college. I worked 30 hours a week while I was going to college and graduated a year early just so I could stop accruing so much debt. So my why is because I want that time with my family. I want to travel the world with my family. I want to give my children a better life than I had. And I feel like that's our duty as parents, is to provide more than we were given. And so why do I keep going? That's my why.
I love it. And so, what I heard is, you keep the why at the forefront of every marketing thing you do. If someone doesn't use you, I got to keep going. I got to keep building. And, while you don't experience no's, you experience people not calling you back. You experience people blowing you off. You experience, but that still keeps you moving. And I think sometimes people get hung up on the first, I haven't heard back from anybody. They get hung up on the, well, I walked in there 2 times and followed up like you taught us to, Mark, but they're still not using me. And that almost deters them from keep pushing through.
Well, and let me tell you this, I didn't tell you this story. So one of my first directs that I marketed to on that first day, he was so enthusiastic about me being there. I was so jazzed. I'm like, yes, all right. Even right out of the bat, like, this is so successful. Wow, this was so easy. Nothing came from that. I had 3 or 4 emails, 2 phone calls after that, nothing. And I think he went back to the notary that maybe he had been using part-time. He runs his office by himself, and just nothing. And 4 months later, almost 4 months later, about 3.5 months later, I got a phone call from him. And he said, hey, can you come to my office and can you do 3 closings today? And I think I posted that on the Facebook group. Actually, I got an email about it. I was like, what? This actually worked, this persistence. If I had let him deter me, then I would have been done. I would have been done as a loan signing agent, just because, I again, he said he was enthusiastic. He wanted to use me, but it took him 3 months to come around. So again, that just gave me even more fuel to my fire to say, hey, if someone says not right now or doesn't get back to you, that doesn't mean that they're not going to. I had someone call me the other day and said, hey, I found your card in my husband's office. And I said, wait. Whose office? Yeah. And it turns out it's up at the shared office space of this attorney's office. I'm like, this is great. I'm getting free marketing out there.
I mean, again, I hope people are inspired by you, man. It's, I call it invisible growth. You have to believe that you're growing even when you don't see it. As long as you're putting in the work, as long as you're putting in the effort, you got to believe in your heart your business is still growing. Your effort isn't in vain. And too often signing agents kind of drop off too early before realizing, look, invisible growth is happening. Even though I may not see it, I know my effort is doing it. It took you 3.5 months to get that client. That's invisible growth. Like, it is working. It had somebody dropping off a card for someone's a spouse to call you. Like, that's invisible growth. And big earner signing agents like yourself really embrace this invisible growth. And I hope people are really hearing that, because you didn't give up just because it was 3.5 months. You never know when your seeds are going to sprout, but it is your job to keep watering them. And that's what this bit has been a story of. I mean, like, people are going to be like, oh gosh, Mark, it's $60,000 in 4 months. Like, I can't do it. Like, it's not an accident you've made this much money. I mean, the amount of deliberate action that you've made in the 4 months is why you're here. I'm going to say it 5 more times, is 50 attorney offices in 4 months. Now, what is that? An average of 10 a month, like 12 a month, is my math right? 12.5 a month. So,
and I'm not done. I still have 50 more I need to go visit.
That's what I'm saying.
At the time, because I have so many signings.
I hope people are being inspired by you. She said 50 down, 50 to go. This is a mindset of a 6-figure earner. And I hope everyone's inspired by this. But 50 offices in 4 months is basically 12 a month, which is basically 2 to 3 a week. That, if everyone wonders what it looks like to get to $60,000 in 4 months, the answer is 2 to 3 direct sources every single week. It's not an accident you are here. And I'm
and to be fair, I did 27 in my first month. I had like marketing blitz days. I had stacks and stacks of scones that I had made. I was up late at night. I was putting my business card on them. I was making scones to freeze so I could pull them out and get them ready for the next day. Like there was a lot of preparation in this. And that's, again, getting that business where right now I have 15 direct attorneys and 5 direct title companies. So of those 50, not all of the title companies were in person, but I have 20 directs. It's almost a 50% close rate. So again, that was a lot of preparation and a lot of thought and a lot of follow-up.
Okay, so let me say that again. I love what you just said here. You're dropping fire, girl. Okay, so what she just said is she has a 50% closing ratio. Incredible. If you know anything about sales, that's an incredible closing ratio. But here's the kicker is I get students who get frustrated that every single time they market, they don't get a signing from it. And you just heard from a $16,000 a month signing agent that she's ecstatic over 1 out of 2 people using her. Or let me say that again, 5 out of 10 people using her. She's still losing 5 people that she's marketing to not use her. And she's built a $16,000 a month business. So for some of you signing agents out there who are like, oh, Mark, I'm only getting 3 out of 8 people. Like, that's a great ratio. 4 out of 8 is a great ratio. So if you're wondering what does the ratio of a 16,000 a month signing agent look like, it's 50%. So you know basically that for every 2 title companies you go to, one's going to use you. And that's okay if the other one doesn't. That's just part of what we're building.
And in full transparency, my one direct, which honestly just kind of came by happenstance, wasn't on my original CRM matrix and all of my research. Someone else had referred me to them. I showed up. I didn't even talk to the attorney that day. I got an email a few hours later. He said, hey, can you come back and talk to me? This sounds like a really great idea. We'd love to use someone direct. And I have to date 20,000 of that 60,000 has come from one direct client.
Well, and let me inspire again, you're dropping fire is you never know who the one client is that will change your business. That's why marketing is so important. That's why looking under every rock, marketing to every title company. I'll get some students like, Mark, should I only go to the title offices that you know are busy? No, because the smaller one could feed you all the business where you live. And so I love that you said that. And I think that's a great part of your journey is you've made $60,000 in your first 4 months, but a third of that's come from one client. That's called marketing. You never know who the one golden cow is going to be. That's why it's your job as a business owner to market to everybody because you don't know. So instead of like trying to cherry pick, oh, this person's busy, this person's busy, what you should doing is what you do. And that's a complete canvas of your city and town of like your CRM matrix. I can see it in my head right now. I can see like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 addresses, phone numbers. I can see like a follow-up box. And I need to hit these person up again. So, again, this has been a really cool pulling back the behind the scenes on a big earner. And I love that you're really early on in your process because you can really teach people how you've built this from scratch. And it's not a magic pill. It is 50 escrow, it's 50 attorneys, right? Again, you're doing this in an attorney state. Where people say you can't make money in an attorney state. Again, this is not legal advice. This is just us talking about her amazing results in attorney state. But in an escrow state, same thing. It's 50 different people. I hope people hear that. When these students are making $16,000, $20,000 a month, it's not because it's on accident. They're not waiting for something to happen. They're making it happen. Autumn, you're dropping fire today.
And I was up late Friday night and I had 10 other offices that I, were in white on my CRM matrix. So I haven't had a chance to get to them. I sent out emails in advance this time and I will go visit them in person. And I got one of them respond and said, wow, how did you hear about me? We really could use this service. Can you come? Can we do a phone call on Wednesday at 2? I said, no, I'll come in person on Wednesday at 2. And I'm going to bring them those scones that I made today and froze so I can make them fresh on Wednesday. But she's like, wow, this is great. We've never had anybody come into our office and offer this service. I'm like, how in a huge metro like this has no one ever been into your office?
Well, thank you for saying that. Again, there's another myth, Autumn, that like attorney offices, escrow offices the doors are being banged down by signing agents. Just not true. When I say these in all my YouTube videos, people are like, oh, Mark, you're just trying to sell a course. I'm like, no,
No.
signing agents don't market. They don't market for a couple of reasons. A, they don't know how to market loan signing systems. You know how to market. Or B, they don't let the confidence or courage or believing themselves that prevents them from walking in. And so they're scared of the word no. And so it's so wide open. If you can live on the other side of fear, you'll see how wide open life truly is. And in our business, if you can push past your fear of the word no, you can see how no other signing agents market. So thank you for saying that. You live in a major US city, you have an attorney who's doing a ton of business, and you're the only signing agent to market to them. Is there any piece of advice you give to a signing agent right now, whether they live in an escrow state or an attorney state, who's on the fence about going to market direct? Do you have anything you'd want to say to them?
Believe in yourself, believe in the system, believe that you will get business this way and you can scale your business as big as you want it. You have got to have that belief that you are capable. You have to have the belief that you are offering something that they need. And you will find that success, whatever that looks like for you.
I love it.
Yourself.
Believe in yourself. I mean, I think it comes down to like what I find with a lot of you big earners is the way self-belief comes from is not forgetting or discounting the effort, the time, the studying, your previous history. Like, look, you were in sales before you became part of a signing agent. So you drew upon that experience. You drew upon the training. You drew upon just life in itself. And really big earners in any industry don't discount like where they've been, right? They bring in all the strengths they've had from the past, and that helps equal self-belief. And so for some of you LSS students, you have the same course Autumn has. Believe in it, believe in yourself. Don't discount the training you've done. And Autumn, honestly, this has probably been the most rawest pullback of somebody's business and how they built it, I think, that I've done yet. The fact that you're telling me closing ratios, you're telling me 50 title office, talking about hand-baked scones, talking about freezing scones, talking about going in the day you got and this is really a pullback, which I love, turning the script into your own. Like, you're really like, look, I'm not reinventing the wheel. Some students are like, does the script really work? I'm like, yeah, I love it. I mean, look, it is no accident you are where you are. $60,000 in your first 4 months, like that is intentional. It is deliberate. It is amazing. Let's kind of wrap up with this. You touched on it loosely in the beginning. I don't know how to word this. Like, I don't want to say there's any regrets. Is there anything you wish you would have done differently when you first started? Is there something that you wish you would have done better in the beginning while growing your business? And talk through that.
Taking my own advice and believing in myself. Setting goals higher than I was scared. I was scared to say like $5,000 my first month because I was scared that I wouldn't meet that goal. And so instead I set a goal of 3,500 and then I hit 8,600. I was like, whoa, okay. Well, maybe I really do need to believe more in myself. Like, I can project that when I go into an attorney's office, but deep down, I wasn't actually believing in myself when setting my goals. Mm-hmm. And so I wasn't aiming high enough. Mm. And I continued to move the bar throughout the months. I'm like, I was scared. I was afraid that I wasn't going to be able to achieve internally. And my husband would ask for my goal, and I didn't want to tell him because I didn't want to be ashamed if I didn't meet it somehow. And of course he wasn't going to, I shouldn't ever feel ashamed. And he's immensely proud of me. And it's not something he made me feel. I wasn't believing in myself that I was capable of that sort of success.
Well, I thank you so much for saying that, because I think people see you through this interview and just like, you're doing $8,600 in your first 30 days, or how can somebody not believe themselves or they're doing that much money? And so I think you become relatable. Like, look, I'm just like most people. And I think a lot of you students definitely need to believe in yourself more sooner and realize that you're capable of greatness right out of the gate, because you are. I mean, Autumn, you're capable of a 7-figure year signing service. I hope you know that. I truly, like, when I say, I mean here, right? And 7 figures is not out of the question. And you got to set those goals so big that it forces massive action. And thank you for saying that, because I think a lot of new students are like, oh, if I just make $500, I'm happy. Stop saying $500. Like, set that goal for $2,500 if $500 your goal, right? If your goal is 16 grand, make that 25,000. There's no reason you can't do 25,000. But I think it's really refreshing that, we kind of end with this, I'm just like everybody else, where I was kind of like, can I do $3,500? I'm not sure. I'm embarrassed of telling my husband of how low my goal is. And it really shows that anyone can build this business, And so let me ask you, Otto, if you could build this business, do you think anybody could build this business?
100%. I think I said that at the outset of why me?
Mhm.
Anybody can achieve this. The students that have reached out to me that I'm talking to, and they say I'm mentoring them somehow, I'm like, wow, I'm only 4 months into this. You're fully capable of doing this. There's nothing that in your course that you didn't teach. You've got to take the time to prepare. You have to have the tenacity. You have to have the grit to keep going. If I'm doing this with a full-time job with 2 toddlers and still building this business, anyone is capable of doing this.
I love it. And let's just kind of end with this, right? I mean, your journey has been amazing to this point. I cannot wait to see where you are in a year from now. But I mean, girl, you're superwoman. Having a job, raising a family, being a mother, dropping off school, dropping off preschool, dropping off docs, doing signings. Like, this is incredible. This is a story of just, it's not an accident on why you're here. So I just want to say I'm proud of you. I can't be happier for you. And 7 figures should be your goal.
Thank you. And I'm immensely grateful to you. I think every time I've spoken to you, I tell you that, but you have changed my life. And I cannot thank you enough for that. And it happened so quick that I am still in disbelief, but I think one day I will wake up and realize what just happened in this last year, that it's so drastically changed. And thank you.
You're very welcome. Well, I'm excited to see you at conference.
Yes.
I know you got that ticket. It's going to be amazing. Hopefully I meet the other half if he's coming with you. It's going to be awesome.
Yes.
But dude, thank you so much. It's a Sunday afternoon, taking time away from your family. Tell your husband and your little ones thank you for me. But girl, I'll see you in Las Vegas.
Thank you. See you there.
All right. Bye.
Bye.